Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tina Talks with Mandy.
I'm Mandy.
How you doing?
I'm good.
I don't have any announcements today, except we want to do a Q&A episode. So if you have questions, please link in description. Click on that and submit your questions. And we're going to do an episode where we want to interact with the audience. So we want to know who you are. On that note, comment, right?
Yeah, comment.
Tell us something. Talk to us. I want to read the comments. I want to hear what you guys are thinking. And so do that. That'll be fun. And today we get to talk about depression, which is super fun and happy and wonderful. Yeah. And everybody's probably feeling depressed right about now because it is February.
Dead of winter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I do want to say before we get started that if you've never struggled with depression, I encourage you to listen to the episode anyways, because unless you are living under a rock, which if you're living under a rock, you probably are depressed. And just don't know yet.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you know somebody in your life or will know somebody in your life who struggles with depression. And I want this to help you to know how to love them well, too. So it's not just for the depressed person. It's for anybody. Okay.
Also, depression can be super sneaky. So you might not know you're depressed. But then after listening to this description, I think you might realize. Because realizing you're depressed helps you to be able to get better, get the help you need.
Yes, definitely have to recognize it.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, good. So before we talk about, today I'm mostly going to be talking, Mandy talked about anxiety a lot last time. I'm going to be talking a lot about depression today. And before I get into my story, I kind of want to define it. And so the way I see depression as like a piece of pie, a depression pie, if you will. And I think there's 5 pieces to my depression pie. And so the first part of the pie of depression is sadness. And I think this is the one that most people, when they think of depression, they think of sadness. But I want you to understand this type of sadness. It's not grief. Grief is the appropriate human response to loss, right? You should grieve a loss. You should feel sad. There's a right time to be sad. But depression sadness is either prolonged grief, like you don't work through the steps of grief, you never move on in the appropriate amount of time, which is different per situation, or it's sadness and grief without the loss. So you just feel sad and grievous for no reason. Well, not for no reason, but...
Well, there's no external factor or nothing happening in your life that necessarily made you...
cause the depression.
You might just feel sad and then someone will say, why are you sad? And you're like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just sad.
I'm just sad. It's just the way it is. So that's the first part of the pie, though.
Or feeling more sad than you should. Feeling more sad than... we don't want to say should, but feeling more sad than the situation warrants.
Yeah. Than is necessary or appropriate or normal. Whatever normal is.
I think normal is a good word.
And it's per situation, too. Yeah. Because obviously some losses are going to be bigger than others and grieving periods are going to be longer sometimes. But if it goes beyond that, it's probably depression. But it's not just sadness. Depression isn't just sadness. It's also numbness. And this is whenever you see people who have a lack of interest in doing things they used to enjoy doing, or they just don't care anymore about things. My theory is when a person is depressed for a very long time, like years, then your baseline is just low. And so when you get sad news, you really can't go any lower at that point. So you just start feeling numb. It just doesn't... You're just already sad, so you just don't feel much at all. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Numbness. And then there's loneliness.
So numbness was 2.
So sadness, numbness, then there's loneliness. And this is not physical loneliness, not literal loneliness. This is a loneliness that you can feel when you're in a room with 100 people. It's a feeling of nobody sees me, nobody cares about me, God has forgotten me, nobody likes me. He loves other people, but he doesn't love me. It's not there anymore. I'm totally unseen, unheard, and alone. That's how it feels to be depressed.
And there's that feeling of no one understands how I feel. No one gets me.
Nobody.
And then you start to have self-pity. And that's why if someone tells you that they're depressed or in a season of depression, it's better to just empathize with them than to try to fix it, which I know you're going to talk about that later.
I'm totally going to talk about that,
But one of I think some of these things numbness, my personal depression at this time in my life, I don't feel numbness. I feel the opposite. Everything hurts so bad. Yeah. And if I were numb for an hour, it would be relief. But I think the loneliness piece, everyone feels.
And I think people are prone to feeling more some people are prone to feeling very lonely in their depression. Yeah, like you said, like it's just, you have the pie, but my numbness piece might be a bigger piece of the pie than your numbness piece. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it
it's
depends on
just,
your personality. But
yeah,
when I was a
they're
teenager,
not
I
evenly
definitely
divided.
experienced numbness.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was depressed, but looking back, I'm like, I was
Totally
depressed as a
depressed.
teenager.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So that's only the first 3. We got 2 more to go.
We got 2 more.
There's guilt.
Yes.
And I also want to make a distinction here. Guilt is not always a bad thing. Like, we need to feel guilty. We need to feel heartbroken over our sin. We need to feel the heaviness and the weight of our sin in order that we might repent and turn to God and accept his forgiveness and his love. But depression guilt is relentless. Like, you see yourself as the most hideous creature that has ever walked the face of the earth, and nobody will convince you otherwise. Like, you know you're the worst. You've seen the dark corners of your heart and mind, and you know you're filth.
And you
it's
feel
just
guilty for
always there.
everything. Like,
Yeah.
you feel guilty for everything.
Literally everything. And you just spiral on that.
I was with someone yesterday who we were talking about, like, we had coffee, and we were like, I was using a stirrer and he was using a stirrer, and we were like, we could really use a spoon, but we don't want to waste the spoon. And the guy there was like, I have 100 spoons, you can use them. And I was like, no. And then the person I was talking to, he was like, sometimes I put my finger in the coffee and stir it with that because I don't want to waste the stirrer. And I'm like, I was like, that's not actually normal. Like, you should get help. When we both laugh, but like, that is an example of the kinds of things that you feel guilty about if you feel depressed.
You feel sorrow. You say sorry.
You just always feel guilty. Like, you're guilty for existing.
Yes.
And
remember
I guess I am talking a little loud. Yeah. Do you want to hit me with your car? Yeah, I still say that. I sent that text to my husband recently, and he was like, what are you talking about? Because there's a meme.
It goes back, yeah.
There's a certain meme that is like, I'm sorry I did that. I'm sorry I looked at you weird. I'm sorry I exist.
I'm sorry for saying sorry.
Do you want to hit me with your car now? Like, and it's kind of making fun of people who apologize all the time.
Yeah, but this is like, we're kind of making light of it. But when you have depression, guilt, and sorrow, it's like, it's intense. You feel it constantly. Ugh, it's horrible. And then the last wonderful piece of the pie is exhaustion. This is not laziness, but I know that some people will look at an exhausted, depressed person and be tempted to think that they're just a lazy person and they need to pull themselves up by the bootstraps and get over it. But listen, I enjoy being lazy. I honestly do. Like, I love it as much as the next person. Having a lazy night where you order pizza and watch TV and just hang out and do nothing. It's wonderful. But I don't think I'm like a chronically lazy person.
You're not like
I don't
prone to laziness.
Struggle with laziness.
Yeah.
That's like not one of my. I have plenty of other sins, but that's not one of my like, big ones. And when I'm depressed, I'm so physically, mentally, emotionally exhausted that like taking a shower seems like a monumental task. Like getting out of bed even before that, and just the thought of changing out of my pajama pants is painful. Like it just seems like I don't want to and I can't because I'm so exhausted. And so I don't know. This is depression as defined by Tina. I didn't use AI. I don't use AI. I don't talk to AI, but
you should.
I'm not a doctor, but this is just how I feel like defining it because this is what I felt in my experience with it. So
yeah, I think it's fair.
And any other pieces of the pie that you'd add?
Well, I would add sensitivity, like feeling insecure in your relationships and getting your feelings hurt easily. So there's a couple different types of depression. I think what you're talking about is more like
chronic
depression, or like a depression that people might be prone to their whole life, like that comes and goes. And then there's the depression that's more like bipolar-esque, like that's like an extreme low, like if anyone knows my story, like what I experienced and how I had to go into the hospital because of my depression, it's a little bit of a different animal. It's like all this, but it's kind of like on crack and everything. Like you can't function. You're not able to function anymore. You kind of fall apart and you can't do anything. Like they call it a nervous breakdown, but you're not supposed to say that anymore. There's all these words for it. You're supposed to say that you had a mental health crisis.
Oh, yes.
Which is very vague, but it's something that happens to a smaller amount of people. So like when I talk about depression, I'm talking more about like that. But then you're talking about more like normal depression.
I'm a normally depressed person.
Yeah, you're more normal. You're normal. Yay.
Oh, I've never been called that.
So like this kind that Christina's or Tina.
Wow, you never call me Christina.
I don't,
That was bizarre.
because there's sort of like an audience that might not know. Like I'll say Tina and people will say, who is that? And I'm like, Tina, she works here. But
that's
yes,
fine.
Tina talks. I just lost what I was saying. But yeah, I have no idea.
Okay,
like
it's fine.
Gone. It's totally
I'm sorry.
Gone. I feel like it was so important though. It'll come back.
So,
okay.
I'm going to talk about...
It's a really interesting point.
My history with it. And if you think of it, just jump in.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
The kind you have is like seasonal depression.
Yes.
Like it'll come for 3 months and then it'll go.
Although, it's funny. My seasonal depression doesn't start when most people's seasonal depression starts. It starts when most people's seasonal depression ends.
Which is the spring.
When the sun starts coming back out.
Because you hate sunshine.
I get depressed because I hate sunshine. And I love darkness. And I love clouds. And I love winter. And I love the cold. And then the sun comes out.
She draws the curtains during the day. And she turns on a stupid lamp.
I love lamp lights. We never use big lights. The big lights are not allowed.
I turn on all the lights in the house, and my husband's like, "Why are all the lights on?"
I'm melting.
Yeah.
So.
Anyways.
Yeah, seasonal depression.
So I guess you're not really normal.
No, I was normal for 5 minutes.
Not even.
Not even. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my history with depression, just so people know, like, I don't know, maybe then you'll trust what I'm saying. But it's also like Tina Talks. You're here to hear what I have to say. So
yeah,
anyway,
I want to hear it.
I was depressed since I can remember. So I would say even before puberty hit, I was depressed and miserable from a very young age. And I remember specifically growing up in church, there was a song that everybody sang. And it was, I got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? And down in my heart. And I literally, every time that song was played, remember wanting to just throat punch somebody because I didn't have joy, 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 joy down in my heart at all. I didn't even have one joy, let alone 4 or however many it is. It was horrible.
We would not have been friends with me.
Oh, it was
you
the
would have hated me.
No, I would have like gave you the death stare.
Yeah.
As we were both singing in Sunday school or whatever.
Because I was like the happy.
I got that joy, joy.
Yeah.
It's like Lucy. I can see it.
It is like Lucy.
You guys are little lights. But I really felt lonely as a kid because I wasn't aware that it was normal to be depressed. I didn't know what depression was. I couldn't articulate that to anybody. My parents didn't really understand anything about it. People didn't talk about it. And I wouldn't recognize that I had depression probably until my mid-20s, or admit it at least until my mid-20s. So I really felt like a freak. Like I was the only person on the planet who felt this way, and something was deeply wrong with me.
Like the loneliness piece.
Yes. It was intense from a very young age because I'm like, why am I not happy? Everyone else is singing joy, 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 and I'm miserable, like beyond belief. So, yeah. And then I learned to cope with it by using substances, which everybody knows. I know. I always talk about the same things. But
well, it's your story.
It is my story. And yeah, when I was like 12, I started getting high, and that helped. And then it didn't. The worst of my depression was definitely when I was like 18 to 20 years old, because that's when I started using like pills and heroin and cocaine to deal with those feelings. I can't quite articulate what it felt like to be that depressed, like as depressed as you're talking about during your mental health crisis.
My mental health crisis.
Your nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
It's very a difficult thing to explain. I felt like a walking corpse. Like I was actually decaying, and I was aware of my decay, and I was just crawling in a pit among the dead. Like that's how it felt. I don't know. And it's interesting how much I just hated myself, but many people who feel depressed feel that way. Like they can't quite explain it. And that is why a lot of depressed people become artists and poets.
Yes.
And because you use metaphor to explain these deep, dark feelings that are within you that you can't quite explain. And so there's actually, I didn't look this up. The Psalms are, David had to be depressed, man.
You said read, Psalm 88. Oh, David absolutely struggled with depression and fears. I would say anxieties.
Yeah. But he was able to, I am, I'm looking
he talks about, he talks about crawling in the pit with dead bodies in that song.
That's literally what it feels like.
That is what it feels like. It feels like
felt all the
dead
drugs
inside, except for this is so like heavy. Death, you think like you don't feel anything, but it's like you're dead inside, but you can feel the dying. Like
I have a really good quote.
Yeah.
Before I read the Psalms.
Is it this C.S. Lewis quote?
Charles Spurgeon.
Oh,
is what that
Spurgeon
CS
is the
stands for.
best. Oh.
The
CS.
mind can descend far lower than the body, for in it there are bottomless pits. The flesh can bear only a certain number of wounds and no more. So, like, you get stabbed only so many times before you bleed out and die, right? But the soul can bleed in 10,000 ways and die over and over each hour. And that is depression.
And that's not a C.S. Lewis quote.
No, it's Charles Spurgeon.
Yeah, so I saw the C.S. and I was like, whoa, I've never seen C.S. Lewis be so dark
No, Charles
before.
Spurgeon was
Yeah, he
depressed.
struggled.
Which I'm going to talk about him in a second. But this Psalm 88, I'm not going to read it all. For my soul has had enough troubles, and my life has drawn near to Sheol. I reckoned among those who go down to the pit. I have become like a man without strength, forsaken among the dead, like the slain who lie in the grave, whom you remember no more. You do. You feel like, even if you know the Lord, we'll get there. You don't feel him. And they are cut off from your hand. You have put me in the lowest pit, in dark places, in the depths. Your wrath has rested upon me. You have afflicted me with all your waves. By the way, who's afflicting him? You have removed my acquaintances far from me. Okay, that's enough of that. There's another one. There's another verse I really like. Why, oh Lord, why do you reject my soul? Why do you hide your face from me? I was afflicted and about to die from my youth on. So he's felt this for a long time. This is horrible. I suffer your terrors. I am overcome. And yet you're still breathing. And it's painful. And so I remember going through depression when I was a child, as a teen, and then during this drug era. And thinking, I wish I had physical wounds or a disease so that people could see my pain.
And take me seriously.
Yes, because I felt like I couldn't really speak on my pain because there was no reason for it to be there, or it wasn't real, or it wasn't
And people will say hateful
actual.
things to you when you're depressed. That happened to me last week.
Did it?
Yeah, somebody said, you know, the word depression is so overused. It's like the word narcissism. It, you know, that people always just say they're depressed, but they're not really. Depression, you know. And I was like, well, that's not
for you to judge, really, right?
Yeah. And then the person kept arguing. And I was like, okay. It was on Facebook, though.
It's really easy to look at someone who's depressed and, like, judge them because
if you don't understand depression, there's this mentality. And it definitely in the church. Yeah. I don't think in this church, but that, like, you just need to pray it away or pull yourself up by your bootstraps. We're going to talk
about that in a minute.
Oh, are we? Okay.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry. I keep interrupting you.
You can interrupt me. It's your talks.
So, the drugs made it so much worse. Like, most people probably aren't smoking crack right now who's listening to my voice, which is good. Don't do it.
But if you are, stop it.
If you are, stop. But even just, like, drinking is a depressant. If it's wine o'clock, it's mommy time or whatever, like to have her wine. If
or
that's how you're
weed.
dealing, or smoking weed, which is so common now.
Eating weed, ingesting
Quit it. THC.
It's really bad for mental health, for your brain
terrible
health.
It's horrible.
Yeah, and it's a sin.
And I did it for years. I mean, well over a decade, and it was terrible. So during that darkest season of my life, I wasn't following the Lord either. That was a huge piece of it. I resonated deeply with Ethan Brand by Nathaniel Hawthorne, which you've never read? You never heard of it?
No, I never even heard of it, but I looked it up, and it's really a happy tale.
It's a terrible story. I don't recommend reading it.
This is why American Lit is the worst. I hate it. It's all hopeless.
I loved it.
Ugh.
I loved it.
I was a Brit Lit person, like poetry.
It.
It's so depressing.
I know, and I felt it. Like I was in it with that man. Like I was like, they get me. These people get me.
Okay.
So Nathaniel Hawthorne got me.
Yeah, he was a Puritan,
but Ethan Brand he was a lime burner. I think I'm saying that right. He worked at a lime kiln. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means. But anyway, he left his post at this fiery kiln to go search for the unpardonable sin. And then there was a new guy in his place, and he finally came back. And the new guy was like, I think Bartram or something. He said, did you find it? And the unpardonable sin? And he's like gone mad at this point. Ethan Brand has. He's like literally insane.
Right.
And he like wickedly laughs and points to his own heart. And he's realized that like the unpardonable sin is within him. And they have this long conversation. And I think there's an overarching theme of like chasing intellect over like love and relationships or something like that. But what I got from it is at the end, he went crazy because he knew how horrible he was. And he plunged himself, spoiler alert, into the fiery kiln and died.
Yeah, I didn't read it because I read the synopsis and I was like, no. But, you know, it's interesting because Nathaniel Hawthorne's most famous story, The Scarlet Letter,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't that remind you of the Dimsdale, his heart? Like,
Yeah.
he has the bruise on his heart because he's sinful and
Yeah.
because he has the sin and
Same thing.
he's not repentant. He's unrepentant.
Yes, that's the key.
Because Hester Prynne is repentant, so by the end she gets like redemption.
Right.
But he is unrepentant.
Right.
And it's like
that's a huge I actually wrote my final senior project on like the way guilt drives characters in stories, and it either drives them to accepting grace and growing, or it takes them to the grave. And
you talked about The Scarlet Letter, right?
I talked about a lot of things. But
anyway,
we're
both literature people, so this is definitely going to happen. It's
going
to happen.
We are who we are.
Yeah.
But I did not obviously plunge myself into a fiery kiln, but I was dancing in the flames. I mean, I just was so close to it all the time and didn't care, and it was really, really horrible. Then I had my come to Jesus moment, like literally came to Jesus. And here's the interesting thing. This is why I paused you earlier. I felt so much joy. For me, it was like this huge shift, this monumental shift from just feeling darkness and sadness and miserable my entire life. And then when Jesus opened my eyes to who he was and what he did for me, and I understood God's love for me, and I felt it for the first time, I was so joyful. Like I had the joy. And I went out and I told everybody, and I was so excited and I was so happy. And so I guess I was naive in thinking that I'm a new person now. I will no longer have the feelings of depression ever again as a Christian.
And a lot of Christians say that too. Yes. A lot. Like when you're really depressed, they will say it to you. Like I had a friend who attends a church that has horrible theology. And she said to me, and she was really great. She was very like, she wasn't down on me, but she was like, my husband was depressed too until he started living in victory. Yeah. And I was just like, okay. Like, was Jesus not living in victory? Like, he was the man of sorrows. Like, but I didn't argue because there's no point. You would have argued. But, like, but you just have to not believe stupid stuff, because if you believe stupid stuff, it will make you depressed. Because when her husband gets depressed again, because it's probably going to happen, then what are they going to say? What did I do?
It could. And that's exactly where I was. Like, the spiritual honeymoon that I was in faded. And then over a few years, I started dipping. And I'm like, no, I don't want to dip. And then dipped again. And I just the depression was always lingering. And then finally, I think it was my second postpartum that really just like, I went way down. Really bad.
She also had life circumstances. Like you said, like in the beginning of this talk, you said depression, you might not have said this, but it was in your notes. You said that depression just comes for you and it doesn't matter what's going on in your life. I think to an extent, though, it does. Like your life has stabilized a lot, and I have noticed that your depression is less.
Yeah,
also.
I definitely had things that were.
But you can be a person that's just prone to depression. Right. It's like both. It's like nature and nurture.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, so you were really depressed after your second postpartum.
And I was really growing in the Lord then, and I got really scared, and I was like, am I even saved? Like, was I even legit? All of these bad feelings are coming back. Now that's when I was having intrusive thoughts, which we touched on last time, those thoughts that you just get that are dark.
I need to know what the intrusive thought in the shower is.
So I had a 1-year-old and a newborn, and the only place that you have a minute of like alone time is in the shower. And I would get in the shower and I'd feel relieved for a minute, and then I would have these intrusive thoughts of just like, this is gonna sound so bad. I can't believe I'm saying this. What if I just like banged my head off the wall as hard as I possibly could? Like, what if I just rammed my head into the side of the shower wall? Like, I would think that.
I'm sorry.
Isn't that horrible?
Yeah, it's funny. It's kind of funny, and it makes me think of one of your children. Like, now it all makes sense now. You know what like the thing you talked about last?
Yes.
Yeah, but anyways, I told about how my dad was afraid he was going to stab my mom with knives last time. So.
You did talk about that. So,
which he corrected me. He told me that I didn't tell the story right, but it's fine. He was like, "No, I'm not upset, but this story it went differently."
This is how it actually.
No, actually. Oh wait,
she did hide the knives.
Yeah. So what actually happened was they did hide. So my dad used to have this intrusive thought what if I take the knives and stab my wife with them?
Yes.
So he said, we need to take the knives away. And she was like, okay, crazy. So they took the knives away. They gave them away. Well, then this couple came to their house later for dinner. And they noticed that they didn't have any steak knives. And they were like, oh, okay. So then like later, they like as a nice gift for them, they like,
oh my
they
gosh,
bought really nice knives for them and gave them to my parents. So my dad was like, okay, I guess.
we have to have the knives.
Yeah, so they kept the knives. It's funny. It's funnier
That
than
is
the
really
original
funny.
story.
That is hilarious.
But intrusive
actually.
thoughts, yeah. They
come whenever you're messed up in the head like us.
But if you have OCD,
so you're not alone.
They come more
you
frequently.
You just get weird, scary thoughts, and it doesn't mean you're going to act on them, but
you're not going to act on them. It's just it's an intrusive thought, and it like invades your brain. Like it doesn't come from you. I don't think. I think.
Well, that's what I want to move on to is like 3 things that I've learned, and I now know about depression, and that is the first thing you already said a little bit, but it's kind of more like that. Like you don't choose to be depressed. Depression chooses you, and you get plagued. Maybe God chooses you, but in His sovereignty. Not maybe, He does. But I just want to say that because I don't want anyone to think if they're depressed that it's their fault. It is not your fault. It's not something you've done. It's not something that you can avoid, really. Be aware, it can get you anytime.
Well, if you're like 35 and you've never experienced any of this, like
won't.
you're probably not going to. It's also something you're prone to.
Yeah.
Like you said, from a child.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not prone to this type of depression. Like once I get through this, the pit I'm in, which is not what this episode is about. Like I expect to feel better and not be depressed every year. Like, well, also it just depends on the person and as you grow in trusting the Lord, because even though it's not your fault, bad thoughts really affect your mood and really do matter.
And it does matter what you do
and what you believe.
Yes.
Yeah. So like what you tell yourself.
Lean in and entertain it, which we'll talk about here in a minute, or you can fight it. And yeah.
But even if you believe like bad theology, like as long as I'm good and I pray every day, I won't get depressed. But that will catch up to you.
Yes. Agreed. And it may not be depression. It could be something else, but either way.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads into the second thing I now know. It's not a result of a lack of faith. Period.
Yeah.
Just full stop. Like, it's not because you don't have enough faith in God. So I kind of thought of the story when I was thinking about this of the woman who just gave her 2 cents. I know they weren't cents, but
her 2
denarii or whatever they were. What were they?
No, they were like little.
They were little.
Coins.
Yeah, they were smaller
like
than denarii. That's like a day's wage, isn't it? Yeah, they were like 2 pennies, 2 cents. And everybody looked at her and thought, oh, like, that's all you're going to give? That's pathetic. But to her, God knew, like, her heart, and that was everything she had, and she gave it all for Him. And so when you are depressed and you don't feel God's love, and you don't feel happiness, and you don't feel joy, and you still choose to have faith and trust in Him, all we need is the faith of a mustard seed.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's great faith, actually. And I think He's pleased with that. Because
it's a unique type of faith that only a person who's suffering can have.
Yeah. Thank you.
Like when you're suffering, you're able to show your faith in a way that you can't show when you're happy.
Right.
And when we get to heaven, we're not going to, this is the only time, like when God says, are you going to believe me or not? This is where the rubber meets the road. Like
this is the test.
I'm in pain. I'm suffering. This is where you find out what your faith is, and it grows because you're like, I'm either going to wait on the Lord and believe that He's going to save me, or I'm going to die or go do drugs, or, like you get to a point where like, I'm helpless. I've done everything I can to feel better, but I still feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to wait on the Lord. And that is faith. That is faith. It's believing that He's going to rescue you because He loves you and He can. And He said He would.
Yes, exactly.
And that's why it's obviously not a lack of faith, because there's so much scripture, like not Ezekiel. Yeah. No, Lamentations.
Yes.
Who wrote that again? Jeremiah.
Jeremiah did. Yeah.
I knew it.
Well,
Isaiah.
I think you wrote it.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Isaiah was. No. Who's the one?
Jeremiah.
Who's the one with Baal and Elijah was depressed?
Elijah. We're going to talk. Yes.
Jesus was depressed. Paul was depressed.
Hold on.
Okay. Sorry.
Slow down.
I'm getting excited.
She's right. The third thing I learned, though, is that God will meet you in the darkness, and you will get to know Him in ways you would not otherwise. You cannot know Him in such deep ways unless you go through hard times and suffering. And I want to share a quick story because the most recent time this happened to me, like, it's really dark, and for the most part, you don't feel Him or see Him or hear Him, but He does meet you there. Like, He shows up and He shows you Himself. And Okay, so I'm going to talk about the same things I always talk about. Fostering. We got little Bean the day after my husband's birthday in July 16th. And it's like crazy. They call you, and then a couple hours later, there's a child there, and we didn't know all the details until she came, and she is nonverbal and has autism. I didn't know anything about autism 6 months ago when she came to us, and now I know a lot. But those first few days, so she came on a Wednesday, and those first few days were like really intense, because what I now know about autism is anything new experiences, it's very overstimulating. There was a lot in our house. It's a new place. And so it was just a lot for her, and she wasn't sleeping and we weren't sleeping, and I didn't understand her, and I didn't understand how to help her when she was getting upset. And so it was just pure craziness and chaos. And though I don't think I was necessarily depressed, I was feeling a lot of those depression feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And Sunday comes around, and Aaron works Sunday morning, so I take the kids to church by myself usually. And we go Friday nights, but I took the kids to church, and she was a runner. So like as soon as we took her outside the house, she would just take off. And so she was a lot. And so we got to church, and I was like, okay, this is not going to go well. I'm a mess. Like, I'm exhausted. I cannot pretend. Like, if I'm not doing well, everybody knows it. Like, I just cannot.
Same.
Like
weeping in the front row during worship, and it's fine. Just look away.
Everybody knows. So she's fine. It's just this happens every few months. So I get into church, and it's not going well, and I'm like a puddle on the nursery floor, and she's a puddle on the nursery floor, and people are like looking at us like, oh my gosh. And Jordan Colleen was my hero. She did keep her for a while, and I got to hear like half the sermon. But I was really sad. We had to leave early. I had to pull my kids out, and we had to go. And I was so sad, and I was like talking to God in the car on the way home, which is only like 2 seconds. And because we live really close to church. And I was like, I needed this Sunday more than I've ever needed a Sunday. And I even have to give up that. Mm-hmm. I can't even have my worship session with you. I can't even worship with other believers. Like, what am I going to do? And I was just feeling really despairing.
Sorry for yourself.
And yes, pity party. Massive pity party.
Yeah.
And I got home, and I sat down at the piano. And this was when I realized she really likes music. Because as soon as I started playing the piano, she was quiet and still for the first time in like
what?
4 days.
You can do that?
Like, oh my gosh. So my boys were playing Legos over here, and Emma was sitting on the couch, and little Bean was just standing on the shoe bin looking out the window, still and quiet. And I started playing a worship song, and then I just started, and okay, to preface this story, well, in the middle of it, this is not false humility, I'm not that great at piano playing or singing. Like, I'm very, very average, like low average in both of those things. And so this doesn't come naturally to me. I think that's good for the story. So I started worshiping, just playing random chords and just like singing my prayer out to God. Like, I just started crying out to him. Just like, first, like, just pouring it all out there. Just saying all the things I felt. And then I started praying for each one of my children, starting with little Bean, and then Emma, and then Sam and Jack by name, and just like sung prayers over them. And then I ended with just like magnifying God's name and just like worship, just like truly exalting him. And then that went on for like an hour. And then I like stopped. And Emma was just sitting on the couch. All of the kids were completely silent.
I can't believe that you did that in front of people. Like, it's awesome.
I was in a desperate place.
I would be so embarrassed.
Emma goes, how did you just make that all rhyme? I was like,
You made it rhyme?
Apparently.
That is the Holy Spirit.
I said,
spitting.
I don't know what that was, but like, no, I do know what it was. That was the best worship session I've had in years. The Holy Spirit was there, and he just was in me and with me, and like just gave me strength in that moment and filled me up. Even though I didn't get to worship with my brothers and sisters in church, and it wasn't in that, like he met me. And it was such a close moment to him that like I'd go through that first week again just for that. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have that otherwise.
Well, and stories like that are so like touching and like, oh wow. But like, if you've never been through it, it's like you have to give a lot to get one of those stories. Like, you don't just get it.
Yeah.
Like, you are desperate.
Yes.
Like we were talking last time about laying on the floor on your face, crying out to God. Like,
you're at your low, baby.
It's desperation.
So yeah.
And then he meets you there.
Yeah, he does.
Often.
But that's what I mean. Like, if you come to that place, he's there. He is in the pit.
I could say that he's never not been there.
Yeah. And he understands it. So, all right. That was my little story. And now I want to talk about some coping strategies. Let's get practical for the end of this podcast. I actually
Not to say that it's almost over.
Not to say that it's
no,
that is confused with.
Yeah, please don't
we
be
have like
confused.
7 coping strategies
We have
here,
so
and
many
I
things to
know
say.
that Mandy's gonna have more. So
yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So
we'll
they
see.
might get woven in.
Whatever. All right. My first one is tell someone. One of my kids, he struggles with being sad. Although my husband, we've talked about this recently, and he doesn't think it's sadness as much as it is boredom.
Yeah.
Because when his mind is stimulated and activated, he's a very happy person. So he might be right. But sometimes he looks pretty down.
A little melancholy, we'll say.
So the other day I said, "Hey buddy, what's worse than being sad?" And he said, "Lying." And I said, "Yes, that's right." But what I was thinking is, what's worse than being sad is being sad and alone. So you can't really help being sad, but you can tell somebody, and then they can be in it with you, and you're not alone in it. Because it does feel very lonely. But have someone, whether it's your spouse or best friend or someone in your church, a mentor, who you can just say, "I feel this way." And I told him that he could tell me when he feels sad, and that I promised I wasn't going to try and fix it. And I wouldn't make him do anything or whatever. Like, he could just go to his room and hang out for a little bit and take a nap or whatever you want to do. Because I think that if you tell someone that you're depressed, it does share the burden a little bit. It takes the burden off of you a little bit. And my advice for the person who's being told, like if you have a friend who tells you that and then you're always trying to fix it, what you said earlier, don't try to fix it. Just sit in it with them and just be in it with them, and just tell them you're there for them.
Yeah, I think that that makes me think of being married to someone who's depressed. So my husband is normal. So he doesn't really get it. He doesn't understand depression. But having walked through it with me, since my husband is normal, I sort of had to explain all this to him.
Yeah.
So I had to tell him, because he's my husband, so he wants to fix it. He wants to make me better.
Yeah.
Because that's his, that's how God made him. So I had to tell him, like, I just need to be able to tell you when I'm having a bad day, and I just need you to say okay. The worst thing you can say is why.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in chronic depression, because I'm like,
why are you so upset?
I don't
Why
know.
are you
Like,
so depressed?
And you feel like you're letting the other person down because they've been like waiting for you to feel better. But I said, what I tell him is, I just need you to sit with me in the dark. I don't need you to try to turn on the light, because sometimes you can't turn on the light.
Yes.
You just have to sit there and wait till morning. You just have to wait
it out.
And you need somebody. I might like cry during this. You need somebody who's just like, I'm not a crier, so if it happened, I'll be real embarrassed. But it passed.
You can cry.
You need someone to sit with you, like just sit with you, so you're not alone in the dark. Because sometimes you have to just go through it.
Yes, exactly.
But if you're alone, it's so much worse.
Romans says, "Weep with those who weep." We need to weep together, not just let me instantly make it better. Julie was on here a little while ago, and she said we're really bad at lamenting. Like, sometimes we just need to let the pain be and just walk through it, muddle through it. Have you ever heard of Proverbs 25:20?
Not until I saw
this is so good
in your notes. Yeah,
it says, "Like one who takes off a garment on a cold day, that's not comfortable, or like vinegar on soda, is he who sings songs to a troubled heart."
See, that's why you were upset by joy, joy,
Yeah,
joy. Like
I'm
soda and vinegar.
validated.
You're like violent reaction against. Stop it.
Throw a punch. Shut up. It's awful. It's like, don't tell me sunshine and rainbows and happiness and peace and joy.
But there
and
are
Jesus
songs of lament, which I do want to talk about music soon.
You just have to text your friend and be like, "Okay, I'm here in the pit with you."
Right.
We're gonna be
okay. We both have to remind ourselves of that, even though we know, like, if one of us will say to the other person, "I'm feeling really down today," the other person will be like trying to fix it. Like, well, why? What happened? Yes. God is, and it's just like,
it's such a natural response. Yeah, and it's okay. It's not, you're not sinning.
Sometimes people do need advice or seeking advice, but sometimes you just need someone to know.
You could even ask. You could say, "Do you want to talk about it or work it out, or do you just need someone to know, to pray with you?"
Yeah, we say, "Do you need me to listen to this like a woman or like a man?" Because a woman just says, "Oh, honey, I'm sorry," and the man's like, "Let's make a list of 27 things."
We both can be very manly sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyway, in that regards,
practical,
not in any other way. Second coping strategy. Yeah, not manly.
We're not manly.
We think like men sometimes.
Yeah.
Second coping strategy. Remember this and say this. And this I got from your dad. I don't know where he got it. Despair is a lie.
Always a lie, he says.
Despair is always a lie.
For the Christian.
I know.
If you're not a Christian,
yes,
it's not a lie, but come to Jesus.
Yeah, right.
And then it won't be.
Right. But despair for the Christian is a lie. So
Yeah.
if you're a Christian, you can say and you can claim this despair is a lie. So I know I won't always feel this way. This has been huge in my walk with depression, and I think the reason why I'm getting better at dealing with it. I'm going to personify it here for a minute.
Go ahead.
So it's like this.
I like it.
Depression knocks on my door, right? Because it visits me from time to time. And I know it's depression because I can smell it from a mile away. Like, I know who's there. And I just open it because there's no sense of fighting it, right?
Yeah, like you got to let him in. He's coming in.
But I used to panic. I used to freak out. Like, oh my gosh, depression is here. It's going to kill me.
I thought this was never going to happen
die.
again.
Yes, I thought I was a Christian now. I thought I was saved. I thought I defeated this the last time. But I came back. Despair is a lie. Okay, you're here. Come on in. Take a seat. Whatever. Here's what you don't do is you don't entertain it. So what I used to do was entertain it. I used to pour it a glass of wine and drink with it. And I used to listen to really depressing 90s rock music that made it way worse.
Yeah.
The other day, Aaron and I were driving in the car listening to like old songs that we used to listen to growing up. And he was like, no wonder we were both so depressed when we were kids. Like, this is like all about.
Okay, yeah, so I have a story about that happened today.
Okay, go. Tell me.
Okay, so my
Lucy's
daughter, okay, it's Lucy.
Sorry.
She loves music. No, it's fine. I don't really care. I don't think she would care.
You said you had a story earlier.
She loves music. She's so into music, and she loves rock, especially.
Well, it's the best.
Because it is the best. But so she was watching a movie, Cheaper by the Dozen. Do you remember that movie from when we were kids?
Yes.
Okay. So there's this song that she was like, oh, this is my new song, Mom. Let's listen to it. So we listened to it on the way home from church last night, and it was that I'm just a kid and life is so unfair or whatever. That's not the words. But like, do you know that
nightmare.
Life is I'm just a kid and life is a nightmare or something.
Think that's the word. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's very catchy. And I was like, this is a song from when I was a kid. And she was like, yeah, it's from Cheaper by the Dozen. And I was like, okay. And we're listening. And I'm like, okay, but I just want you to know this song is not reality. It's just how he feels right now.
Yes.
Because he's a teenager and being a teenager is rough. Because me being your mom, you get these like life lessons like every moment.
Yes.
Like it's never just we're listening to a song. Like, no, we have to have a life lesson, not just an ice cream. Yeah. So then this morning I went in her room and she listens to music to wake up and she's laying there crying, listening to this song. She's like, Mom, this song's true. This song's true.
Oh,
and I was like, okay, we're not listening to this song anymore. And she's like, no, I was feeling this way before. It's just nice to know that someone understands me. And I was like, honey, like, we'll talk about this, later.
Yeah.
But then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, that music is really bad to listen to over and over. Like, what are the lyrics saying? Like, I'm just a kid and my life is a nightmare.
Yeah.
I'm just a kid and my life is unfair or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly how it went, but like,
I can think of so many songs.
There's so many songs from that time period. And I used to think, oh, it's just a song. It's just a song.
Adam's song.
Until like 2 years ago.
I die alone.
I don't know that song.
I laugh
They sound so happy. Those like punk rock songs.
Yeah, and they're depressing as
So I was texting her dad about it and I was like, and then he looked up the lyrics. He was like, she's never listening to that song again. But it's fine. But it's like, it is.
Well, it is like how you entertain depression is huge. Like you do have the power to make it worse for yourself.
Yeah.
And drinking with it and listening to that music and putting that stuff in your head is just going to make it worse. So you got to be very careful. And watch what your kids are listening
to.
And
I understand, like, first of all, I don't actually think Lucy is depressed, but I do think she's coming into, I think puberty is a trigger for depression.
Or you just feel emotional.
Like, I was depressed as a teenager and I didn't know it until looking back. But if I had known at that time, like, this isn't how adults feel like, the way a teenager feels is not how they're going to feel as an adult.
Right.
And if someone had just told me, which my dad did tell me, but it didn't click. Like, the way you're feeling right now is not how you're always going to feel. It's just the hormones. Like, that's what I'd say to her. But at that time, I listened to Matthew West. He has an album called Happy, but it's about depression. And his music was very different back then because,
it's not just joy.
Yeah, it's not like when you think of Matthew West, you don't think of someone who's like been in the trenches. You think of like Christian.
I don't even know Matthew West.
Okay, so there's the Christian music that comes on KDKA or K-Love, and it's so horrible. Like, we both hate it. We hate it because it's just like, I'm a Christian and my life is always going to be fine, which I know I know that there's people out there that are like, no, there's good ones. Like, I'm sure there are good songs on there, but like, positive, encouraging. They always have these little stories that like your story, but they don't. We both hate
we can't
hate
stand
K-Love. Okay, sorry, but some of these artists have been through it, and you can hear it in their music. And I could tell you a list of like people, like even Brandon Lake, who is kind of Pentecostal, and usually the Pentecostals, not always, but typically the Pentecostals will say like, no, you just need to pray it away. It's from Satan. Satan's afflicting you, and you need to pray and all that stuff. But like, there are a lot of Christian artists who have been through it too, and they sing about it, and it's so encouraging. Like I have a playlist that's for when I'm feeling down.
So it's not like ignoring the feelings.
You can still listen to sad
like they're
songs.
Not there because but songs that are going to point you towards the truth. Like that's my point, is you don't entertain it. You don't kick it out. You can't kick it out. It's there. Depression's there to sit on your couch. But you do the next right thing, and everything's going to feel heavier and harder, and you're going to move slower, and it's going to be sadder. But you just keep doing the next right thing, which I think I can attribute that to Elizabeth Elliot
all the time. Oh, okay.
Well, Elizabeth Elliot
is more famous, and she probably suffered more than Mike Reiner. Because she had 4 husbands die, or 5. Yeah, she married like 4. She married at least 4 times.
3. Okay.
Like after her the famous husband died, I'm pretty sure she had like 3 more husbands die.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She had.
Check me.
Okay.
4 total.
3 dead.
All dead.
Okay, well you said 5 at first. So I was like
4 or 5.
I know she did go through.
I don't know.
Her books
is there
are amazing,
a fact checker?
She'd be a great one to read if you're depressed. But anyway, do the next right thing, and then eventually depression gets bored and he leaves.
He does.
He's gonna leave.
That's the thing.
He's going to go.
Yeah.
And even if it isn't in this lifetime.
No, it will be.
But it will be.
Depression doesn't last forever. It's a thing. It's like even clinically, like if you're in the hospital, they will tell you this feeling will go away.
I know, but
and
you
then
have to die
you
eventually.
feel
you
like
die in a depressed state. But I know what you're saying.
Okay, you're right. If I got hit by a car in the depths of depression, then I feel better.
Depression gets over. He'll move on. And so, but you got to choose to do the next right thing, and don't make it worse for yourself. Don't drink with him.
Yeah.
And that comes to my next coping strategy. This is just wonderful advice. You guys are all going to think I'm the smartest person on the planet. Eat, shower, sleep, and take vitamin D.
Mm-hmm.
So take Benadryl if you have to.
To sleep.
But sleep. And take your vitamins and eat a healthy meal. And take the shower even though you don't feel like taking the shower. Even though it's exhausting to think about, especially for us women. Like, it's such a process. I gotta wash my hair. The whole thing. You know
can take a shower and not wash your hair, though. You can do it.
Ugh, I can't.
I mean, I have to have one day where I give my hair a break. Otherwise, my hair gets like stringy.
No, I wash my hair.
You wash it every day, 7 days a week. Every day.
I know you're not supposed to. I know you're supposed to like train it to not be so oily or whatever, but I don't care.
I don't train my hair to not be oily. I just like give it one day of a rest day.
Occasionally I do, I guess, but
like where I just wear a hat.
Yeah. I like to wash my hair, but I don't do anything to my hair afterwards. It just get out dry. It just dries naturally. But even still, it's processed.
Italians have good hair.
Yeah, maybe.
I just made that up. Literally, I just made it up.
So this is biblical, though, and you do have to remember this advice when you're depressed. Like, okay, Elijah, his story is awesome. If you read like 1 Kings, read like 17, 18, 19. 19 is what I'm going to talk about.
Find the story of Elijah.
It's such a good story.
With the prophets of Baal.
Yes.
And the fire from heaven. And then the next story after that.
Yes. So he does this amazing thing in front of all these people to prove that God is God and Baal is nothing. But part of that story involves him, not personally, but having people slaughter all the Baal prophets, all the false prophets. And that's got to feel heavy. And then Jezebel, the evil queen, she basically says, like, I'm going to kill you.
I'm going to kill you. You're going to die.
And so he runs off. And in 1 Kings 19, he tells God he wants to die. He's like, I'm done. I've had enough. I'm ready. Like, just kill me now. And you know what God does? He doesn't give him a sermon. He doesn't,
give him a pep talk even.
Cheer up, buttercup. Joy, joy, joy down in your heart. He gives him 2 long naps. And he sends an angel who bakes him hot bread cake. Which whatever that is,
but it sounds lovely,
fantastic, and water. The angel brings water,
and then he has another nap. It's like nap, food, nap,
nap, food, nap, food. I think.
Yeah.
And then he goes on his journey probably for 40 days because that's
a little bit of exercising,
number. And
walking.
It says he goes in the strength of that food for the next however long.
And then
he was restored.
And then that is when like the famous story of like God was in the whisper of the wind. Like
Yes.
the fire came, he wasn't in the fire. The
He was
thunder
in
came,
the
he wasn't in the thunder. And then God was there in the
stillness.
whisper.
Mhm.
And then I love this story. And
It's
then
so good.
Elijah says again the same thing. Like he's kind of feeling sorry for himself. Like no one's good. Like I just want to die. And then God's like, well, there's 300 guys over here that I've spared for myself that are good. And then he actually gives him the break then, because that's when Elisha gets anointed. But it's just a cool story.
And then Elisha comes in and then he gets taken to heaven in a chariot. So
yeah, so
cool.
he does give him the break eventually.
Yeah,
but
he does.
He doesn't let him off right then.
But even Elijah, who was obviously God's prophet, who did incredible things, he literally drenched the altar in water like 3 times and built a trench around it so water would sit in it, and then called on God to light it on fire, and he did, to prove all these people wrong. And so obviously he was in God's will. He was doing what the Lord wanted him to do, and he still felt these horrible, heavy, hard, awful feelings of, I want to die. He was suicidal, for Pete's sake. And God
Which we could
fed
say
him,
he just wasn't living in victory.
But God fed him and had him take a nap.
God didn't say live in victory and have more faith in me. Like obviously he had faith in God.
Yeah.
He just wanted to be done. Right. He's like, okay, I'm ready to be done now, please.
It's just hard. Life's hard.
Yeah.
So make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you're eating healthy.
Take naps.
Eat well and take a nap and take vitamin D, for Pete's sake. If you're depressed seasonally and you're not taking vitamin D, take vitamin D.
Taking naps is a little controversial because some therapists will tell you don't take naps because it makes you feel worse when you wake up. But when you look at this, like studies of, I'm on the side of naps. I'm on team nap. Yeah. Like you totally are. Depression is, you are physically depleted. You're exhausted. You need to rest. It's time to rest. Like take a nap and don't feel guilty.
Yeah. Time to take a break. For sure.
Take a nap and then go to bed at the normal time. Like if you're tired, like take a nap.
Preach it.
Do it.
Do it.
My dad always tells me, you take it. Take that nap.
All right, 4th coping strategy is something you taught me. I love this phrase. Don't should on yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And that means don't say, I shouldn't feel this way. I should feel better. I shouldn't do this. I should do that. Okay, you can't help your feelings. So you feel feelings.
There's no moral assignment to a feeling.
There's no moral assignment to a feeling. That's a good way to put it. And it's just like you can't help getting the stomach bug. Like you just get it. And you wouldn't yell at your child for getting the stomach bug. Why'd you do that? Right. You can't yell at yourself and condemn yourself for feeling a certain way. You feel, it doesn't matter if there's something that caused that or not. Like your feelings are just there and they're real and they're physical. So I want to talk about science for a second. There's 2 parts of the brain that I want to talk about real quick. Okay. Stay with me. Prefrontal cortex, big area in the front. That's where you think rationally, logically, decision-making part of the brain. Then there's a little part in the center called the amygdala limbic system. And that's where scientists best figure that your emotions originate from, that amygdala limbic system. And so this is your brain's, like a response center to something that happens. Fight or
flight, like your survival
But
brain.
it produces an emotion, right? And that emotion is physical because that emotion has physical symptoms. So think about it. What's a physical symptom of being sad?
You feel it in your chest, like
but
your chest.
What physically
crying.
happens to your body? Tears come out of your eyes, right? What's the physical symptom of being angry? Physical symptom.
Yelling.
No, that's a choice.
Being hot.
Hot. Your body temperature goes up.
Okay.
Get red, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What's a physical symptom of fear?
Like goosebumps.
Goosebumps. Sweaty palms. Some people actually throw up. So
or heart palpitations.
Yes, your heart beats faster. Okay, you shake, right? So what I'm trying to say is like, I shouldn't feel sad. That's silly. Like your body, if you have a functioning brain, human brain, is going to feel emotion, and they are a physical thing. And what you need to understand is that when your amygdala limbic system is lit up on the brain scan, your prefrontal cortex is not.
Right.
And so you need to recognize and be able to say, I'm feeling a certain type of way.
Because it's not rational, because that part of your brain is to make you survive. You don't have time for rational thoughts. You have time for reactions, which is why when you're driving a car and a deer jumps out, you haven't even registered the deer before your arm is like moving.
Exactly.
Or whatever direction.
So it's good to recognize the emotion you're feeling. I'm feeling really depressed, okay? Or I'm feeling really anxious, really, anxious for no reason.
Don't say, I shouldn't feel this way.
Instead of saying, I shouldn't feel this way, smell the candle, blow it out. Go for a walk, eat, sleep, do whatever you do to calm that amygdala limbic system down so that you can then think rationally and think, okay, let me put this in context. I'm saved. Despair is a lie. I have Jesus, right? And then you can dwell on truth and you can think on truth and you can think rationally and logically, but you have to calm that system down first. And shooting on yourself isn't going to help you get there.
Shooting on
It's
yourself will make you feel worse.
accepting the emotion for what it is. Okay.
Like, I feel angry. I don't want to feel angry, but I do.
Breathe and calm it down. In our house, we've been saying when we're angry, we just read James 1, and so we've been saying
slow to anger.
Slow to anger. And every time someone starts to get angry, slow to anger. Slow to anger. Calm it down. And then you can make decisions and think on truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next one, because we're getting there.
We're getting to the end.
Remember what God has done. Another one of my favorite passages is Joshua, right? He crosses the Jordan River with the Israelites. They're going into the promised land. They've just been in the wilderness for 40 years. And once they cross the Jordan miraculously, God instructs Joshua to set up 12 stones, one per tribe. And it's kind of like a memorial. And he says, like, your generations after you will look at this and they'll remember what I've done for you. They'll remember that I'm the God who brought you up out of the land of Egypt and into the wilderness, or across the Red Sea and into the wilderness and fed you manna and across the Jordan and scattered your enemies, before you. And you will, that whole description of what God did for the Israelites in that time period, I should have looked it up how many times it's remembered in the Bible. You know what I mean? Like through the Psalms, through the New Testament.
Hundreds.
Oh my goodness. Like over and over. Like specifically.
The most famous story in the Bible is
what he did there. Yeah.
It's like when he brought them out of Egypt.
Yes.
I mean, I just made that up. Someone might say, no, it isn't. But I don't think anything's repeated more than that in the Bible.
It's repeated many times. Remember what God has done, because he hasn't changed and he's the same God who's with you now. And so my advice is to write down the things God has done for you, because when they happen, because you will forget. Yes. And the reason I know I forget, and I've probably forgotten so many things that I didn't write down, but like when I do go back to the book that you got me, my book of remembrance, Rock's Remembrance notebook, and I look at things that God has done for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that,
And I have physical rocks, which people laugh at me.
My sister-in-law, she has like a thing on her table, her dining room table, filled with big rocks. Yeah. And they just write, like she has one on the top that says car.
Your sister-in-law
Someone
does
gave them a car. Yeah, and it actually says Joshua 1:9 or whatever the passage is right on the side of the box.
Yeah, that's what I do. I have a rock and I write I haven't had one since 2023, but like I write the year and I write what things that happened that year.
Things to remember.
And then you see my little pile of rocks.
The rock. Yeah. It's excellent.
But if you think that's weird and nutty, like you don't have to have rocks. Like
you can have a notebook like me because I'm normal, as we've established.
Yes, but compared to me, you're normal mostly.
I say that.
Mostly.
So anyway,
but compared to me is a huge caveat.
True.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
All right. Thanks for that. I'll take it. I don't think it's true though. So meditate on things that God has done for you. Meditate on the things he did in Scripture as well. Obviously, that's why it's there. But you can put that into practice personally. When you are depressed, you feel like God forgot about you. You feel like he does not love you anymore. Read those things and remember, oh my goodness, he has answered these prayers. He has done so many things. He's the same God. He'll show up again. I'll see it again.
Mm-hmm. There's a song called Same God by Elevation Worship, which I love right now. I listen to it all the time.
And he goes through what he did for people throughout the Scriptures.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I have two more.
Okay.
Serve others. This might be controversial. If you go to a therapist, every single therapist in the world is going to tell you self-care. Are you
getting your self-care? Are you getting your nails done?
Are you going to the spa every week?
Are you going on a walk?
Are you taking time for you?
Especially if you're a mom.
Oh my gosh.
They're like, you just need more self-care.
And listen, I'm not knocking on it because what did we just say?
I am knocking on it a little bit.
You do have to take care of yourself in the sense that you have to eat well. You can't fill from an empty cup. You have to sleep. You have to rest. Okay? But it does not end there. Like if you are depressed and all you focus on is your time and your stuff and how you feel and what you're doing, you are staring at your navel and it is making it worse. Like the best thing you can do for yourself is serve someone else. And I'm not saying start a nonprofit and go feed all of the homeless people in the greater Pittsburgh area. What I am saying is see someone else. Notice the widow 2 doors down or a good friend from church or someone who may also be feeling down or sad and drop them off a coffee or sit with them for an hour and ask about them and look at them and see them. And, the reason we go through these things is because God comforts us in a way that we are then able to comfort others. You don't keep it to yourself. You have to serve. And so it always feels better to give than receive. Always. It always does. It's always more filling whenever I do something for someone else than when I get something from someone else. And so depression, it can feel like you just want to close the blinds and stay in bed and forget about the rest of the world. and say, I can't give it.
Self-evaluate. Because if you're in
Yes.
therapy, you're talking about
all of your
you're
problems.
doing a lot of introspection, which can be good. But if you need to also then
it's appropriate.
Put that away and then go focus on somebody else.
Yes. Yeah.
And especially even someone outside your home, like as a mother, my whole life can be totally consumed by serving my children because I am one of those guilt-driven mothers. It's like if I'm away from them for 5 minutes, I feel guilty.
Yeah.
I know you don't know what that's like.
I don't struggle with that.
Must be nice. But so like
bye, kids.
It'd be easy for me to take this and be like, okay, I'm going to go serve my kids more. That's not even what we're saying. Like the way I learned this lesson was at camp. I volunteered at a camp for foster kids. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that even in my darkest depths, which was late summer of 2023, my depression and anxiety will pause at about day 2 of camp because we have camp for 5 days and we go you stay overnight. And every year, every time, like even the year that I could not do anything else, I couldn't even cook for my family. But when I went to camp, I function and I feel better. And I think there's a lot of reasons why, but I think the big reason is because I'm focusing on someone else every moment that I'm at camp. I'm like, I have jobs to do. I have people to minister to, and I'm focusing on another person. And I'm not thinking about how I'm feeling or myself. I'm not trying to make myself feel better, but I get so much joy out of it.
Yes. And you can't exist like that.
Not forever.
For weeks on end when you're depressed, but just doing something to take your eyes off yourself and onto somebody else.
Serve someone else, cook someone else a meal.
Take it over to them, sit with them. I had one friend who just dropped me off a coffee one time. She just left it on the doorstep and left, but that was so meaningful to me. Just do something like that and it will feel good. Even sending a text. We've talked about this before on the podcast.
Or a card.
Yeah. Encouraging somebody else. It really is helpful. Sure. And God wants to use you in your depression. All right, my last one. And then I'm going to share my favorite Bible verse and then, first I'll ask if you have any more, but my last one is look at Jesus. He is called the man of sorrows. Go back and read about him in the Gospels. Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, the night before he was going to the cross. And just sit there with him and think about how he felt. And, have we struggled to the point of dying on a cross or
shedding blood,
sweating blood too?
Yeah. But the thing is, and people always talk about that scene. And then there was this little doubting voice in my head that's like, yeah, but that was one night. That was one single night. But he's called the man of sorrows, acquainted with grief. And if you read very carefully the Gospels, I believe that Jesus struggled with depression. Oh, yeah. I said it. Oh, we're going to get letters.
He definitely gets it.
I believe he struggled with depression.
Yeah.
And I also believe he was an introvert, but just read it and think about it. And then think, how could you not struggle with depression? If you came from heaven and you're here.
Yeah.
And nobody got him. His disciples, he told them 1,000 times, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. And then they're like, what? Yeah. You're going to, and he's just like.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah.
We often wonder,
our theory.
This is something I got from this book, which I'm going to recommend in a minute here. This is Spurgeon's Sorrows. I think it should be in the
it should be in the bookstore.
Bookstore
by the time this airs.
Your dad got it. This is really good and it's small. And so when you're depressed, you don't want to read a big, heavy, crazy book. And this is short chapters, easy to get through, easy to chew on, and really good stuff. And a lot of it is Charles Spurgeon quotes, but he's not the one who wrote it. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, something I got from the book is a lot of times whenever we're depressed or when we're going through suffering of any kind, we wonder why God allows it. Why does a good God allow suffering and depression, all these things? But we're wondering the wrong thing. What we need to wonder is why he chose to suffer it with us and for us. I absolutely agree. Jesus didn't come from heaven to this messed up earth and have his own father, the one he was one with, turn his back on him. He felt the full wrath of God poured out on him so we didn't have to. If that's not depression, if that's not the most depressing place to be, the most darkest place to be, I don't know what it is. And he chose to do that for us. That's how much he loves you. And so he knows how we feel. And one of the lines, I think it's a Charles Spurgeon line, remember that when you sip at sorrow's bowl, he drains it dry. Isn't that so good? Jesus, isn't it good?
Yeah, it makes me think of It makes me think of Harry Potter.
Does it?
Remember when
I don't know Harry
Dumbledore drinks?
Potter.
What?
Not a Harry Potter fan.
What?
I'm sorry.
Tina.
Oh my goodness.
How can you not be a Harry Potter? Yes,
I'm
you
trying.
are. You.
I'm
Okay,
trying
well,
for the
Dumbledore
family.
drinks this bowl of like horrible potion that makes him really sick and sad.
I'm not anti-Harry Potter.
Some people out there will get me because there are normal millennials who are 37. Like,
I'm not normal.
you're in your 30s.
It's because everybody loves Harry Potter. I don't love everything.
Yeah, but you have Harry Potter stuff all over your house. That's why I'm so shocked.
Because of my husband and my children. He has.
How can you not like
he has done
Harry
that.
Potter? What?
I know. No, I'm trying. I actually did.
It's
I
fine.
just
If you don't like it, you're not
books.
going to like it.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't read the books?
I've read parts of them.
Listen, I'm throwing major shade on you,
a
like that you haven't
person.
actually read the book. Yeah, but you like Lord of the Rings. It's fine. We're going long.
My favorite verse.
I just want to say that you're wrong about that.
I want to leave with everybody. I'll accept it. I love this verse. It's Micah 7:7-8, and I'm going to read it because this is a different, this doesn't matter.
Translation?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I noticed that because I looked it up and
Then
this is
memorized it in.
NASB.
But I like this one.
Okay.
Because it says, "But as for me, I will watch expectantly for the Lord." He's watching expectantly for him. He knows. He knows. He's expecting him to come. He's watching for him. "I will wait for the God of my salvation." So he's not trying to fix it right now. He's waiting for the God of my salvation. "My God will hear me." I love that. I love that. "Do not rejoice over me, O my enemy. Though I fall, I will rise. Though I dwell in darkness, the Lord is a light for me." And he says dwell in darkness, like...
living in it.
Yeah, the version I knew was sit in darkness. Like, dwell means to tent, to live, to be, to exist in. Like, to exist in this darkness. But I can still declare that the Lord is a light to me. I can still declare that he hears me, even when it doesn't feel like he hears me. I can still declare that he's coming for me and he saves me, even if I don't feel it, right? And then another one that people already know this one, because I feel like the Micah one isn't as well known.
No.
But Isaiah 9:2, "The people who walk in darkness will see a great light. Those who live in a dark land, the light will shine on them." And so, yeah, that's my ending, because, like, God's going to fix it. And for the Christian, our pain is temporary, but our joy is eternal, right? So, like, I truly believe, and I've gone through some stuff. Everything I feel and experience here is a light and momentary affliction. And you have to declare that over your depression too. Like, this is light and momentary. My God is eternal. His joy for me is eternal. And
when
I'm going to
Paul
trust
said that, he was like really being afflicted. Like, he was in prison, getting stoned to death.
Been through the most. Shipwrecked.
And the Lord tormented him with a demon.
He had a thorn in his flesh, whatever the heck that means.
But we know it was from Satan.
Yeah. He was definitely depressed.
I mean, he had good reason. I have a thorn, and it's my dog. I call him Thorn. He follows me around the house and stares at me all the time.
Legitimately.
Yeah. Costs me money and ruins my stuff. And
your dog is the worst.
Yeah, I call him Thorn.
I did tell you to wait. I said don't do it.
I don't really actually have regrets. He's cute.
Yes, and you had a moment with him, so anyway, we won't talk about that.
We'll talk about my moment another time when we get to know each other better, or never. It's fine. I mean, when I get the audience, never mind, forget it.
So, I don't know, maybe this helps somebody. If you're depressed, hang in there. There's a lot of good truth in Scripture. Search the Scriptures. You are not the only one who's feeling this way. You're there with Elijah and Paul, man. And David. Those are like the big shots. They were depressed.
And Jesus.
We're
making the claim. You can't say that it's an undisputed fact that Jesus was depressed, but like we are saying we think he was.
But I think
he was a man of sorrows.
And it does.
What does that mean?
He's tempted in every way that we're tempted.
Yeah.
It just makes me think that, like, he understands the feelings of.
I mean, my dad or Will might come to us later and be like, "You said the wrong thing."
And we will let you know if we get depressed.
But maybe if we can test if they actually watch this.
Ooh, all the way to the end.
Yeah.
Special prize if you comment now. Okay.
Yeah, the prize is nothing.
Yep, that's right.
Respect.
Recognition. We'll say your name.
Rising star.
We'll say your name on the next podcast. Okay.
No, we won't. No, we won't. We won't.
All right. So that's all we got for today. We'll see you next time.